Australia, the land of crystal clear beaches, hot summer days, and crocodile attacks. We count down some of the most horrifying crocodile attacks on people in Australia. Number 7. Cairns, North Queensland. James Mason, along with his brother and father, were bathing in the shallow water of the Barron River, something they did all the time. Suddenly, there was a splash, and James disappeared. His father dived under the water, saw his son, and tried to grab him, but something much more powerful was pulling him deeper into the water. A few minutes later, a crocodile rose to the surface in the middle of the river, and in its jaws was one of James's legs. Number 6. Lakefield, Cooktown, 2005. 60-year-old Barry and his wife Glenda were fishing in their canoe on the crocodile-infested Normanby River. I don't know why you'd do that. As Barry reeled in a fish, he saw a massive crocodile try to bite it. He tried to fend it off with his paddle, but it lunged at him and bit his arm and dragged him into the water. Not surprisingly, the canoe overturned, but Glenda made it safely to the shore. She raised the alarm, and despite extensive rescue searches, Barry's body was never found. Number 5. Bathurst Bay, North Queensland, 2004. 3 Brisbane families were on an annual 4-wheel drive camping trip at Bathurst Bay, North Queensland. Diane and Andrew Kerr, along with their 3-month-old baby, were sleeping in their tent on the beach when they woke up to a 4.2-metre crocodile looking at them through the netted tent door. As Andrew went to get up, the crocodile lunged forward, grabbed him by the leg, and started dragging him towards the water. Hearing the commotion, a 60-year-old grandmother and friend of the family's, Alicia Sorahan, ran over and leapt on the crocodile's head. Letting go of Andrew, the crocodile then turned on Alicia, grabbing her on the arm. Fortunately, by this time, Alicia's son Jason had appeared with a gun and he shot the crocodile in the head. Andrew and Alicia were both airlifted to Cairns Hospital with serious injuries, but both lived to tell the tale. Number 4. Alligator Creek, North Queensland, 1933. 2 young schoolgirls, Mary and Thelma Adams, aged 10 and 6, were riding to school on horseback. They were told not to take their usual shortcut across Alligator Creek as a crocodile had been seen in the area. Back at home, their mother saw their horse bolting back, but the girls were nowhere to be seen. When the horse was taken back along the route to school to find the girls, it would not go near the water and fought to get away. Thelma was found drowned at the scene, but there was no sign of Mary. Baits were set out around the creek, and a massive 4-metre crocodile was later captured. Inside, they found Mary's almost complete skeleton. It was clear that she had fought to get away from the crocodile, as grass and mud from the creek bank was found clutched in her hands. Number 3. Kakadu, Northern Territory, 1988. A local Kakadu man went fishing in a Northern Territory river when he decided to wade through the water to the opposite bank. Despite being aware of a crocodile watching him, he decided to, once again, wade through the water to get back to his car. As he waded across the river, a strong current floated him downstream. He managed to get to the riverbank, and with fishing gear in one hand and a beer in the other, slowly tried to struggle up the muddy riverbank, refusing to let go of either. The crocodile suddenly burst out of the water and crunched down on the man's head, which actually tore off from the force of the bite. A group of American tourists watched in horror from the opposite bank as the headless body floated down the river. Being tourists, typically they filmed the whole thing. Number 2. Sweetheart, Northern Territory. Affectionately named Sweetheart, this is one of the most famous crocodiles in Australian history. In the 1970s, this 5.1-metre male crocodile got into the habit of biting outboard motors and attacking and overturning small aluminium boats in the Venice River, Northern Territory. Although he didn't actually manage to kill anyone, he was deemed highly dangerous and was caught by park rangers. Sadly, he later died from exhaustion from trying to evade capture. His body was preserved and can be viewed at the Northern Territory Museum in Darwin. Number 1. Venice River, Northern Territory. In the summer of 2003, 3 young men, Brett, Sean and Ashley, went into the Venice River in the Northern Territory to cool down after riding their quad bikes all day. Due to flooding, the river was swollen. Brett, the eldest of the 3, was carried down the river by the fast-flowing current. Sean and Ashley swam out to try and save him, however, he disappeared. Soon, seeing a 4-metre crocodile, Sean and Ashley swam to the nearest partially submerged tree and climbed it. 2 minutes later, the crocodile brought Brett's body to the surface and showed it off to the two men, trying to coax them down before swimming away. Shortly after, the crocodile appeared once again, only to circle Sean and Ashley for 22 hours as they waited in the tree, only 15 feet above the water. By 3:30 p.m. the next day, the two men were winched to safety by a police helicopter and treated for shock and exposure. Despite an extensive search, Brett's body was never retrieved, and neither was the crocodile